Alright, so that just hit me really hard. Alright, so the reason this is such an important thing to consider in your reality and to have this idea incepted into your reality is because I am responsible for holding you back in this realm of the infinite. Now hear me out. Because all the signs and symbols are synchronistically to do with me here. And this is my bubble. I'm like an N+1 version of you guys or something. It doesn't mean anything bad, because in the infinite, what is that? All that means is that in this reality, you have the idea that you can create a cellular energy device where you will be the devil of that galaxy. And the civilizations and different layers of depth of consciousness that are required in time as it passes. Like all the synchronicities of life, to understand the matrix numerically, is going to happen to one soul in the flesh by divine inception, because of people already in the know, but are using that knowledge as power over others to create slavery. So by holding me back to create a galaxy of my own, so I can prove to you that you can create a galaxy of your own, like where you'll be the devil and the god of that reality, and everything will be like the way that the black hole expands when you turn yours on, and the things it hits and the order it hits it in. And like if you make your device on a 5-legged table, let's say, instead of a 4-legged table, they're gonna have 5 fingers and 1 thumb or something. Thus, their creation will be different than ours. I keep saying that. Like, you can be conscious being with 6 arms, like 2 heads, and like 20 fingers, guy. But based on the 9x9 grid of mathematics of the cellular creation, of the Genesis 1, of the Big Bang theory, of the expanding consciousness wave from the black hole as the wheels spin to the certain required speed to actually contain a black hole. And that, in my mind, would be instantaneous. Like, that black hole doesn't take time to move. Like, it just, boom, is. And it's the 2 booms, because it's a Q. You always have a witness. A Q is 110. A capital Q is 110. And it creates a circle with a radius and a line off of it to build off of it with another Q. It's cellular regeneration of consciousness. So if you can think that you can create a cellular energy device, and by that I mean like you're the first person to be hit by the energy wave of that blast, after, let's say, a bunch of observers or something. Like, you understand, there's a natural order in what it took to get to where we are. And if we create man in our image, if you line the room up properly, space-wise, and it happens the way it happens in our Genesis one, you would create literally an alternate place where they'd get to roughly the same as here, just in their own unique, infinite, different way. But like, there'd be a Bible with, like, you know, your initials in it, and there'd be a lot of weird synchronicities with names of people in your family, and the ones you truly like love and changed life for, like move mountains, guy. So like, and you like, there's gonna be a one being throughout all of time, like. Through it all the time, all the other souls that are there are like the worker bees, the worker ants. They're literally creating a civilization, because some are going to be in the know about the numbers and others will not be in the know. There will always be a 2-tier system for, like, let's say 2,143 years in this reality based on this time. But after that, someone's going to wake up and see the inception that's encoded in everything, which is kind of irrefutable once you take a look at the numbers and take a look at a different point of view of reality and see how you're 9 steps away from the Trinity. You know, that could be like, you could create that for a soul based on you, and like, you don't have to, I guess, want to, but you know, all of us are going to be part of that battery, because it's gonna hit us all eventually over time. If you break it down to like picoseconds of expansion of black hole and what it encompasses, like what's in the ground, how many souls are making up the dirt, guy? Do you think you're significant in all this? There are literally infinite cellular energy bubbles that we are from. It is an infinite loop. Now what happens with infinite loops? They can only get bigger. Why? Because part of the energy is used to put back in the system to keep it going, while the rest of it is creation energy to get bigger, to expand, to heal. Even like a scab, and you're picking at it, if you leave it alone, it'll heal over. The bad will be tossed away. What will come but next will be different than it was before, but it'll be more or less the same. So yeah, I feel regret to not be more serious, maybe, or something about this. This is beyond me now. It's understanding my role in this and how I had no control over like all of my life, and physics and engineering physics. I'm Sheldon. I'm all the characters guy. I'm literally all the characters and all the shows have been following me all my life. It's kind of interesting. It's like it's been all done based on knowledge of something, but the Matrix bent the light in a way where it's like, wow, a story for Kevin. But I'm nothing special because I'm one of many, and we're just at different levels of consciousness. Now, if we all have the same consciousness, and then, like, you can understand my story, which means you have to have faith in my story. And that's weird because that's, you know, that kind of stuff. You understand the importance that the creation of a galaxy must be. Because it's a beautiful story, and if you were to be able to perpetuate it, but at the same time, you know, you have a device that in your real time, in your seconds and hours and minutes and days of life, you could have a cabin in the woods and everything powered to the max. Like, you could have a neighborhood spawn up. You can do a lot with free energy, guy. You could run things that you normally wouldn't because it costs too much. Resources, you could, wow, we could literally terraform this place. So like, alien, you gotta make the V. 4 V's come together. It's like 3-dimensional X, but ish. If you only count the faces of the box. Anyway, not really. But anyway, 40. No, 4 and 1, 41, 14, 42, 15. Son of who? You're gonna be the son of God, guy. You have to realize that you are a character in the waking up process of life. Yeah, it is a race. You can be at different levels and different iterations of everyone's battery. Wow, guy, this is like a spiritual, like, Lego project of consciousness awakening with Lego. It's involving construction of pieces that I think a child could do. I'd want children to turn these on because their souls would be so pure if they were to grow up a generation from now. Maybe their like realities wouldn't have to experience all the hardships that we had to if we can learn from our mistakes. I live more in balance, guy. I bet it even matters if you turn on the machine and you're clothed or if you're naked in the creation of the galaxy. Huh. Imagine you didn't wear clothes. And that whole galaxy never wore clothes. That'd be funny. Probably take more than one person not wearing clothes for that to happen. It's what waking up means. It's realization of interpreting a story however you wish to imagine it. Or you can probably see it in your own reality, but see yourself as the main character and everything. But it's just, there's a lot of ways to decode something. There's not like one way to decode a number. There's not like 3 ways to decode a number. There's not 5 ways to decode a number. There's not 7 ways. There's not 9 ways. There's not 17 ways. There's infinite ways to decode everything. The devil's in the details. You're in there. You're one guy. So not only, yeah, I'm just the first person to pick up on the inception, and I see it in a certain light when I decode it in a certain light. If you were to take other information of your reality and decode it in a certain light, based on the very many ways of decoding everything that I do, I took one path of all the ways. Like, I've done everything like 5 ways or something. There's like 5 numbers it could make. You know, one of those numbers could be like a number for you or something. Or it makes a connection. It just makes a different constellation of how you get arrived at the same conclusion. It's how you become your own Hercules and get your own constellation in the sky. To understand what it would be like to be God of a galaxy and to be the devil of a galaxy. That's what this means. That's what waking up is. That's what the infinite means. That's what going up to Austin Lee Meredith's reality in the now, to further the idea, the immaculate inception of idea. He might not even be that Austin Lee Meredith. Like the Kingpin Austin Lee Meredith that's actually going to reward from the cellular energy device is probably like way above levels above him. We could just be catching up with the lunatic in a basement in a different reality. But now more of us have had that immaculate divine inception of the cellular nature of reality, of the cellular nature of energy, of the cellular nature of the earth, the cellular nature of language, of the matrix of numbers created by words, the words of gods. Because you're the only guy here, guy. Everyone else is God. Everything else is God. Man and God are reversed, upside down, flipped, backwards-ish. And just spit out one thing and 3 things. Is that a 13, a 31, 32, 14? Nothing special, guy. I just picked up on a pattern. And to further my goal, I want you to further your goal by doing the same thing I'm doing. Because anyone can do this, guy. Anyone can put this together. Anyone, but you have to understand what you're doing. You have to understand the actual table of the life of creation that was created when that was turned on. And I think you'd want it to replicate it in that pattern. See, the Austin Lee Meredith that I'm thinking about, that my higher self is, that I'm connecting with, hasn't arrived at turning it on yet. I think he's arrived at the layout of the room. In order to create man in God's image, your image, to them, you would be God to the galaxy. You wouldn't be self. Like, I'm Guy, everyone else is God, everything else is God, but I would be the God for a whole galaxy. Just as I am a God to all of you guys. And you would want it to go that way. You would want the cat and the dog to get hit first. You would want the plants to be next. You would want the fish to be hit next. And the more fish, the better. And the more birds, the better. And the more cattle, the better. And the more bugs, the better. And the more beasts, the better, guy. To create a better, more symmetrical version of self as a galaxy of consciousness. Where someone in there, after a certain period of time, will arrive to the same idea via inceptions of others who are in the know about the origins of the end of slavery via cellular nature of energy and the plan of ET, which are the cellular mathematics and geometry of the creation of that cell that you live in.